I'm Linda with American Patchwork and Quilting, and I'm here with Angela Walters, who's an ambassador for Handy Quilter. And I'm so excited about the all-over quilting designs that you have. Can you give me some tips on how I might use those or where they might be best used?
Absolutely. Well, I think an all-over design is great, especially for a quilt that you're in a little bit of a rush for, because they're really quick. Or if you have a quilt that you want to add a little bit of movement or enhance the whole quilt top. And so the design I have to show you today is a fun design that uses wavy lines to create a really cool effect. And I actually used it on the quilt behind us on the wall.
Perfect.
Now here's what it looks like. It just has some wavy lines with some filler, but it's so easy once you see it put together. And the great thing about this design is that it's very versatile, so you can use that in the borders of your quilt as well. And here you can see I've done just that.
I tried this design, and what I was disappointed in when I tried it was that my lines weren't spaced evenly.
Well, let me show you. I'll quilt out the designs and I'll tell you how you can help that.
Perfect.
Sound good? All right, well what I'm going to do first is go ahead and quilt a square. That's going to be my quilting area. This design runs from edge to edge, so it's either going to be used over the whole quilt or bigger blocks or something like that.
Okay.
So quilting out that square will give me the sides that I need to use as my guide. So let me do that real quick. Now when you're thinking about this design, all your quilting are wavy lines and a filler, so if you kind of think of it that way, it won't be so intimidating.
Okay.
But you're going to start down just a little bit from the top, and you're just going to quilt a nice wavy line that works its way back and forth like that until you run to the edge of the area. Then you're going to travel down just a bit, about 1/4 of an inch or so, and then echo it. Now at this point, you can echo it as many times as you like. I usually do 3, but if you want to do 4, whatever, it doesn't matter. So here's my first group of 3. Then I'm going to travel down just a bit, and then I'm going to quilt another wavy line that's the reverse image of the top. Now don't let that part sound confusing, just where this line comes down and this line's going to go up. I basically want just a pod shape, roughly. It's not going to look perfect, it just needs to have that little bit of a look.
So it doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical to the line above.
Definitely not.
That's good to know
Definitely
too.
not. Now before I move on, I'm going to go ahead and fill in that area. And one that I love to use is this kind of arch shape that tucks into the line and moves across. So here I'm kind of tucking it in, making sure to pull it down. And that's just because I like the contrast of the direction change, but if you don't like this design or you're really having trouble with that, you could do something different. In fact, when I get to the next pod, I'll show you what I'm talking about. And again, make sure you almost want to travel on those lines. Now, if you get to where you don't like that design or you want something a little easier, maybe like a figure 8.
Oh, I see.
So you can fill it with whatever you want. Really, it doesn't matter.
All right.
Then I'm going to finish off that section just by echoing it. Now, you talked about having trouble keeping your lines consistent. Well, I will say with the echoing, one thing I'm doing is I'm trying to use that foot as a guide. So if I can line that foot up with a line I just quilted, that will help keep it consistent. And just know it's not going to be perfect. You just want a nice flow. Don't stress out about too much. And just going to go ahead and fill it in, work my way across. So you're making your sections and then filling it in before you move on.
Okay, so you'd be working down the whole length of the quilt or the width of the quilt as you go.
Yes, and I like to work from top to bottom, but you know, if you were working within a block or something, or you could do a different direction if you like, but on a long arm, it's a lot easier to do this in a horizontal motion. And let me just finish up this area. And it's so quick.
So good.
It is and you could do it more densely as well. So you can do it dense or less dense. You can make those lines further apart. Now, if I were actually quilting this on a quilt, I would fill in above that with something because I want that consistently filled. But I think once you master it, you can find a lot of fun variations that you can do with it.
That is wonderful. It's so great to have kind of a signature design to go back to every time.
Yes.
That when you just want to get a quilt top done.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for showing us that
Thank you.
design.
Thank you.
And I hope this helped you to have some ideas on how to all over quilt your quilt.